Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Ramsey's Rockin' Roads. Scott Ramsey here with my sidekick, Funny Boy Shane, and we're out here literally in the middle of nowhere, side of the road. Shane and I found this spot, and we wanted something different other than Waller Park. So literally on the side of the road, in between Santa Maria and Los Alamos somewhere, and so we figured this would be a good place as any. This is going to be a two-part. This is as the incredible Mr. Fox would say, this is phase one, side A, and this is all about asphalt rejuvenation. Now, to get everybody up to speed on where we are today, I unfortunately have to give everybody a history lesson in time, and I'm going to take us back 175 years. So I'm going to go through it really quickly to get us up to speed as to where we are today, but this is all about asphalt rejuvenation. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's been emailing, calling, questions. Thank you. You guys are great. I love the emails. I love the calls. Anything we can do to help, I'm here to help. And anything we can do to help improve your guys' businesses so you don't make the same mistakes I did, or you can take your businesses way beyond even further than what we have. Great for you guys. This is what it's all about, just helping each other. And I'm learning just as much from you guys as you guys are learning from me. So thank you so much. Quick shout out to Brandon at SBI. It sounds like he's going to be our next guest on the next podcast. We got a tractor behind us, so hopefully that doesn't bother us so much. So anyways, let's dive right in. So this is all about asphalt rejuvenation, why we need it, why is it necessary, and so we're going to jump right in. So going back to the dawn of man, whenever we discovered fire, we were making candles. And all through history, that's how we got our source of lighting, was through candles. Then roughly in the mid-1800s, right before the Civil War, Mother Nature released a secret of how we can start refining the stuff out of the ground and make kerosene. Starting in the mid-1850s, and forgive me all of you historians out there, I am no historian, and I'm going to do my best to get the facts right, but if I'm off a little bit, I'm off a little bit, but you guys will get the gist of it. So starting right before the Civil War, 1850s, kerosene we were able to figure out how to extract kerosene out of the earth. And that's how homes were lit. Rather than candles, I don't know that it was any less or more dangerous, but having kerosene burning in my house doesn't sound like a grand idea. But that's how they were lighting houses, was with kerosene lamps. And come on the stage roughly about 1863, Standard Oil. Standard Oil comes on the stage just because there wasn't a standardization with kerosene. Some of it was so highly flammable, just the fumes and the vapors would catch houses on fire. So Standard Oil came in 1860s, started standardizing how it's being made. Then 1870s, the late, great, wonderful inventor Thomas Edison invents the light bulb. Here comes the light bulb. Well, it took many, many years in order for electricity, because power plants had to be built, and there was a big war between Edison, Westinghouse, Tesla. Are we going to use AC, DC? There was a big war. How are we going to generate energy? Through Niagara Falls? How are we going to get this energy? How are we going to create it through these generators? Well, they started figuring out how to produce electricity and harness electricity late 1800s, early 1900s. And subsequently, that started to take the place of kerosene. Mother Nature is giving up a lot of her discoveries at this point. So through the refining, and so companies like Standard Oil, ExxonMobil, Texan, they're really not in the market. And here's a big truck coming down the road. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So as homes are starting to be electrified with electricity, the need for kerosene isn't there anymore. And so all these oil producers at the time, late 1800s, early 1900s, are trying to figure out, what are we going to do now? And so through the refining of kerosene, they had literally these pools of this substance. They didn't know what they were going to do. They didn't know they had the substance. They didn't know how they were going to get rid of it. They didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know how toxic it was. And it was this product called gasoline. Well, as fate would have it, here comes on the scene Henry Ford. He's starting to build automobiles for the everyday man. And we pelted the earth with automobiles. Because we are building automobiles, now the need for roadways are necessary. So everything seemed to have, I don't believe in coincidences, but everything seemed to have worked out quite fine and quite well for everybody, because now we have the need for gasoline, and we have the need to build these roads for these automobiles that are traveling at speeds of maybe 15 miles per hour. Early on, they started out at 15 miles per hour, and now we have cars that are going several hundred miles per hour. So obviously the need for modern day roadways was a necessity, and we saw the necessity in the turn of the century, in the early 1900s. So in the process of refining gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, which obviously jet fuel wasn't a thing back then, but now I'm fast forwarding a little bit. In the process of refining gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, there's this byproduct called asphalt. And you really can't do a whole lot with it except make roads. What the substance that's left over, this black pile of Play-Doh or a black pile of clay, let's call it, when it gets heated up, it turns into liquid. So this pile of byproduct that's left over after we make gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, we have to figure out what to do with it. Well, more cars, more roads. So it's a beautiful arrangement. It's a beautiful relationship. As we make gasoline, jet fuel, and diesel, the byproduct left over, we use it to make roadways. So let's fast forward literally 175 years, and now we come to 2004. Now, the date here, I've gotten different stories from different people, but somewhere 2002, 2003, 2004, somewhere in that neighborhood, right after the 90s, refining, fracking technology, something happened. The technology was discovered. Mother Nature gave up one of her secrets. I don't know. All I know is during that time period from turn of 2000 to 2004, the refineries have a technology to where they are literally able to suck every ounce of good usable material out of the crude oil, leaving a pile of dust. Literally a pile of carbon. Literally is what it is. It's a pile of dust, a pile of black sand. The problem is that's a byproduct of making gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. And nobody wants it. We can't do anything with it. I've heard of people selling it to like farmers for fertilizer. I don't know how effective it is. I don't think it's all that effective because the refineries changed their ways a little bit to where they would take everything out of the asphalt that they could absolutely take out and just leave a liquidy garbage. Literally, I mean, pretty much it was just the bottom of the barrel, the garbage that was left over, and that's what the refineries were able to give. Now, all of you guys that have been paving, as long as I've been paving, this is right on the cuff when we went from AR, let's call it Alfa Romeo 4000 or Alfa Romeo 8000, and I know you guys remember, or Alfa Romeo 16000 for the burn mixes back then, but before 2003, 2002, 2004, before that, all of us would buy AR 4000, AR 8000, AR 16000. That was how, and I actually sometimes catch myself saying AR. But then during that period, they went to PG grade. Now, once again, like I said, I don't believe in coincidences all that much. So I think it had something to do with Caltrans, Nevada Transportation, MDOT, Michigan Transportation. I believe all these guys saw this coming. So they standardized asphalt, the road we're on today. They standardized the grade that they're willing their asphalt to be made of, and it's PG grade. PG 6410, PG 6416, PG 7030. These are all 7010. These are all things we hear every day. Now, for us installers, it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Just give us an asphalt that's good for the guys to put down, easy for the guys to work with, looks good that the customer likes, and that's all we really care about. We don't care if it's PG 6410, 6416. We don't really care at the end of the day. But during that time is when the PG grades asphalt came out, and it was during this time where things got standardized. However, the stuff that the refineries were giving out was still not that great. And since that time, the asphalt plants have really struggled putting out a good product. Now, but somehow they figured it out. I don't make asphalt, but somehow they figured it out, and they were able to standardize it. And the testing, and it still happens to this day, when the roads are being built and Caltrans is doing projects in this area, the asphalt goes through months and months and months of testing. They are wasting, I just don't know how you make any money working for Caltrans. I really don't, guys. But I know it goes through hundreds of tons of just wasting asphalt, batches after batches after batches, to make sure the gradients are right, the asphalt, the binder, the black Elmer's glue, making sure all of that is correct. Months and months of testing. So let's fast forward. Let's fast forward again another 10 years. So now we're in 2012, 2013. Now, at this point, California, because I'm pretty sure that California is the one that started it, and they're the ones that got on the bandwagon, and California and recycle. California says, hey, we have this grand idea that we want all the roads that get ground up, we want a certain percentage, small percentage, started out as a small percentage, we want a small percentage of that ground up asphalt to go back into the asphalt, the new asphalt that gets put down on the road. So in essence, layman's terms, we're taking old, ground up, oxidized asphalt. Now there's a reason it got ground up, because it's trashed. They want that old, oxidized asphalt, a certain percentage, to go back into the new asphalt that we make now. So in 2012, 2013, it started out at very small percentages, 10%, 15%. Then as Caltrans upped their spec, the asphalt plants increased the spec as well. So now, today, here we are, 2016, some of the asphalts that we're buying in California have up to 40% wrap, which means 100% of the asphalt that we buy today, 40% of that ton, so 40% of that 1 ton, is old ground up asphalt. Now, from a structural standpoint, I have no problems with wrap. It's called asphalt wrap material, RAP, recycled asphalt product. Structurally, I'm a paving contractor. Structurally, I have no issue with it. Tensile strength, structural strength, pressure strength, wrap asphalt really does hold up well. I don't know if it holds up structurally. I don't know if it holds up any better or worse than the stuff they were making 30 years ago. I don't know. All I know is we can go out there and I can do a fabric overlay and with wrap material, and I know that if it's done to my specifications, we're going to get 20 plus years out of it, providing we have proper maintenance. Now, I just mentioned maintenance because that's really where I have to segue into the whole point of this podcast. Because if I don't talk about the maintenance of asphalt, what's the point of me up here pontificating for 30 minutes about anything? So that's where we run into really big issues now with asphalt and asphalt preservation. Because structurally, the asphalt looks great. It grays out really, really fast. And I've even heard some guys that make rejuvenators, I've even heard them be so dramatic to say that we're actually putting viruses into the asphalt because it's destroying the asphalt from the inside out. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that 100%, because I look at my jobs and I keep tabs on the progression, the cracking, the structural damage, the failures, garbage trucks. I keep tabs on all this stuff. I don't have an issue structurally with wrap asphalt. Early on, I did have an issue with it because it was really hard to work with. my guys had to really get used to how we install wrap asphalt. So we had to learn how to work with wrap asphalt. We had to reteach ourselves rolling techniques, all the numbers that I gave the guys from back in the day, as far as, okay, you've got a 2-inch mat at 70 degrees, you have a 45 seconds to get on the mat. Well, with wrap asphalt, it's like literally 50% of that time. So we've just had to relearn. But the one thing that I've had to try to figure out myself, and I've had to learn, is I've noticed that maintaining, well, let's say starting in 2004 to current, and it's only gotten worse, maintaining the surface of an asphalt roadway, parking lot, driveway, commercial building, the way we maintain is, it has to be completely different than the way it was before. Now, the sequel to this video, Shane and I are gonna go out and we are gonna take videos of jobs I paved 10 years ago where the surfaces are destroyed. Not a crack in the parking lot, not a crack in the driveway, but the surface is destroyed because we can't keep maintaining asphalt. We can't keep maintaining modern asphalt with old thinking. The days of maintaining asphalt where we install asphalt and the rules tell us that we install asphalt, we wait 30 days to seal coat it, and then every 3 years after that, that's what history tells us to do. Wait 30 days to seal coat asphalt, then every 3 years after that. Well, we found out many years ago, I mean, I think when I started this company in 1999, I think I was a big proponent of telling people, guys, do not seal coat in 30 days. Let the asphalt is a living, breathing, oxidizing thing. Let it sit for a year. I've kind of got the Central Coast. I still see new asphalt being seal coated pretty fast. But I think I've gotten everybody pretty well conditioned to, hey guys, let's wait 6 months, a year, and then catch it sometime between that first 1 to 3 year mark. That's the perfect time to seal coat. Well, now history tells us something different. And that's where these rejuvenators are coming in, because we're going to show you videos. I'm hoping that Shane puts up stills up on the screen for you guys to look at. We're going to show you videos. This afternoon, I'm going to do a whole podcast on 2 different surfaces that are completely destroyed. History tells us we cannot keep maintaining asphalt the way we've been maintaining asphalt. And I'm going to repeat myself. Structurally, the asphalt is totally fine. If a crack happens, we crack fill it. That's fine. Just keep the crack sealed. That's paramount. Keep the crack fill sealed. What we're seeing now from a science standpoint, from a chemical standpoint, from a molecular standpoint, I don't know what's happening. All I know is I see these roadways that I put in. Other companies are seal coating them. Other companies are maintaining them. I go back and within 10 years, my entire surface is cracked, checkerboard. Back in the day, we were using coal tar seal coats, and we knew that coal tar expands and contracts at a different rate than asphalt expands and contracts, so we knew what was happening there. But now, it's a phenomenon that none of us can we can't really put our fingers on. However, within the last 2 years, we've been at Ramsey Asphalt, have been experimenting heavily, and we not money invested, but we have a huge time investment in these rejuvenators. And we have seen the way that we maintain asphalt, the way that we're doing our seal coats, the way that we're maintaining asphalt, the way that we're maintaining brand new asphalt, my world has literally changed for the better. So I know you asphalt contractors out there are you're gonna shake your head. Yes, I know what you're talking about. So wrap asphalt, even though you've got your guys trained, this is how we have to do it, boys. You are gonna be, from the first truck that pulls up, you're gonna be in a dead sweat because you have to hustle, compaction. And I made the comment on other podcasts, you can have the best paver operator, but if you have a shitty roller operator, bleep, it's all gonna be bad. But you can have a really good roller operator and a mediocre paver operator, and your job's gonna come out cherry. Even though we've trained our guys in certain ways on how to install asphalt. Now we have to retrain ourselves on how we maintain asphalt. So those of you contractors out there, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Any of you that are using any kind of wrap asphalt just to get paid for the job, and this is even the best of us, just to get paid for the job, in most recent years, we've been having to fog seal jobs for free. You just include it in the, you include it in the price of the job. At the end of the job, you just fog seal it, make it black. It keeps all the binders intact, keeps all the sand intact. And that's just the way it's been. You know, every new paving, you just put a light fog seal on it, and it seems to do the trick okay. Well, 2025, beginning of 2025, we started experimenting with rejuvenators using the same methodology. Put down asphalt, spray it with rejuvenators, and that asphalt that I noticed that turns gray, because wrap asphalt that we use that has any percentage, 25, 30, 40% wrap asphalt, it will look like this in 6 months, which is highly unusual. But that's just, it's already pre-oxidized. Nothing's wrong with it, it's just pre-oxidized. So I have our jobs now that once look like this in 6 months, look like the day we paved it a year later. Now, I don't have studies because we started using these products 2025. I only have about a year and a half under my belt. But jobs that we installed ourselves, we put down rejuvenators, and there's lots out there. I mean, there's a Delta Mist, there's OxyGuard, there's some people still consider Reclamite a rejuvenator, which it's not. Science has taught us, chemistry has taught us that Reclamite is just not a rejuvenator. You know, it's a top coating. It's probably one step better than a fog seal, but really not a whole lot better than that. But as far as a true rejuvenator that's going to go in, attach to the asphalt molecules, make them healthy, there's only a few on the market, you know, that I know of. One of which, Delta Mist, we've had good luck with. I love the stuff. It's literally changed the way that we install asphalt, the way we maintain asphalt. Now, I made a mention of new asphalt. Now, what about asphalt we installed a year ago? Well, that's where I come in, and I'm looking at asphalt, and we send out our postcards, we send out our happy birthday cards saying, hey, happy birthday, you're 1 year old. Have us come out and let us know if there's anything that we need to do. And I mentioned on other podcasts that, yeah, that brings in a spell of calls. That, oh, I'm not happy with this and I'm not happy with that. Okay, those are few and far between. But it is a huge generator of, oh yeah, we invested in that $50,000 paving project. We need to maintain it. So that's our opportunity to go back out. Well, now what we're suggesting is for the first cycle at least, let's forego the seal coat, which history tells us that's what we're supposed to do. That's what the book says. That's what all the reserve studies say. Put a seal coat on it after the first year. Well, my suggestion is, in order to keep that surface healthy, we need to rejuvenate it. If the fines aren't coming out of the asphalt, if the rocks aren't coming out of the asphalt, if you're not getting enough wear to wear through the sheets and layers of asphalt, then we just need to keep the surface healthy. That's it. Plain and simple. That's it. So we talked about two ways we're using these rejuvenators to preserve asphalt. Nope, I thought another truck was going to come and take us both out, but nope, it's just the tractor behind us in the grape fields. Anyway, we talked about two ways that we're using the Delta Mist or the rejuvenators. Is brand new asphalt, brand new wrap asphalt goes down. We're just giving it a little bit. We're just adding some vitamins into the surface, and it works beautifully. Second thing is, when it comes to the first maintenance cycle, grade asphalt or asphalt that we didn't even install, that got installed like from a developer, and they're calling us out for the first coating. Rejuvenator, that's the perfect time. Asphalt is, just think of asphalt as like layers of paper, and the cars and trucks and the sun and the weather and the rain, it just eats through those layers of paper, layers of paper, layers of paper, layers of paper. Well, if your top layer of paper is still there, just protect it. Don't add more paper on top of that, just protect it. You don't need to add a seal coat. You don't need to add chip seal. You don't need to add a type 2 slurry. All we do is protect that top piece of paper, and as long as the aggregate is still there, the fines are still there, the black Elmer's glue is still there, that's the perfect time to keep it healthy, and that's what the rejuvenators are do. Now, the third way we've been using the chip, the third way, I almost said chip seal. The third way that we're using the rejuvenator is, we're calling it, and this goes out to Paul Noring, pre-treat. Now, Paul Noring, he's a nut when it comes to this stuff. I mean, he blasted me videos, AI videos, pre-treat. It was actually quite impressive. I think it was on a Saturday, and my phone kept buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. And Paul was sending us all this because we gave him the idea. Because let me back up here. So the reason for the pre-treat is because there are certain asphalts that there's not a whole lot I can do. And once again, I don't make asphalt. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a lowly little contractor. But I do see certain, I see certain track history. I see certain consistencies within wrap asphalt and certain aggregates to where when it comes time for a seal coat, we just can't get the seal coat to stick. I don't know why. And I've been trying to figure this out for years. Ingevity gave me a product to neutralize the surface. I sprayed that on the surface. It's a clear product. I couldn't really see a difference. We've tried fog sealing. I couldn't really see that makes a whole lot of difference. The only thing that I've been able to see visibly that really works is pre-treat with a rejuvenator. And it really works. We did it, and I'm going to give you guys, before I close out this episode, I'm going to give you guys a quick little example. We did a very busy shopping center in Solvang. As history tells us, we did it by the book. I was out there myself with a temp gun. I was out there myself measuring the seal coat. I was out there making sure that the right amount of seal coat went down. We did it textbook by the manufacturer specifications, and that seal coat, 2 coats, and I think we were getting like 40 feet per gallon per coat. It's a pretty smooth surface, even smoother than this roadway here. And we laid on the material crazy thick, wore away within 1 year. Literally, but it was that reactive aggregate that I knew we always have problems with. We don't know why it would wear away. We just know it would wear away. So right next door, there's a gas station. So the funny thing is with the gas station is from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m., it has constant traffic day in, day out, day in, day out. Whereas the shopping center opens at 9 and closes at 7. So it doesn't have the amount of traffic that the gas station does. Well, what we did, we pre-treated the gas station, let it sit for a week, let those molecules really absorb the rejuvenator. We went back, did 1 coat of sealer. That gas station is holding up better. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we did it yesterday. 1 coat of rejuvenator, 1 coat of sealer. It looks like we did it yesterday. Now, there are some wear marks there. It's been about 2 years now. There is some wear marks there, but it's 90% reduced from the shopping center we did, and which we did it per the textbook. Now, we did the gas station unconventionally by my textbook that we're all rewriting right now. Here we are, 2026. We literally are rewriting history. So I'm going to close this episode. I've been talking long enough. I even got in there for Isabella. I even got in there a quote by the incredible Mr. Fox. Hopefully she enjoys that. And so anyway, close this one out. There's going to be a sequel to this. Keep your eyes open. More to learn, more visual. I know a lot of us are visual learners. I'm a visual learner. I can only say so many words before I need to see it in person. And trust me, phase 2, side B, you're going to see plenty of videos, and I'm actually, maybe we'll take some pictures of the little, I got a Sally oven, little Sally easy bake oven in the office where I'm actually cooking off layers of seal coat just so I can test seal coat and penetration and all that stuff. Just because asphalt preservation is super important. Guys, I remind you managers, I remind asphalt contractors, installing asphalt these days with asphalt prices being $70, $80, $90 a ton, and seal coat prices really haven't changed all that much, it's costing in upwards of $3 a square foot for paving, and it costs 15 to 20 cents to maintain asphalt. I don't care if you're maintaining it with a rejuvenator or seal coat. It is paramount that we get it right, because it's unaffordable, and it just doesn't make sense. We have too many roads in all of the US and all of the world to rebuild infrastructure, to keep milling and paving. And the Asphalt Institute tells us, with the gradation of asphalt binders and with the gradation of aggregate and the stone and the cut, Asphalt Institute tells us that asphalt should last indefinitely, even with RAP. And I agree with it. I see RAP as being a surface problem, not a throughout problem. So anyways, I'm going to close this out and say thank you for watching. Any questions, comments, email us, text us, call us, however we can help. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.